What's this I hear about Faulkner getting the push?
Bloody Chrissy told the governor that he tried to get her in the cot.
She what? The rotten bitch. He might be a screw, but he's not a real bad bloke.
Oh, it's all right, Lizzie, because it was lucky for him Ferguson was there. She told the truth and got him off the hook.
Yeah, she really put her foot in it this time.
What do you mean?
Oh, she went off half-cocked as usual. Told Davo he was in the cell with her when he was with Ferguson all night. They've thrown Chrissy in the pound.
Well, it was lucky for him that Ferguson was there, otherwise he would have really been up the creek.
She's lying.
What?
Well, I had a real bad headache last night, so I asked old Faulkner for some of me pills, and we were chatting for quite a while. And he was on his Pat Malone.
Are you sure it's just that you didn't see Ferguson?
Of course I'm sure she wasn't there. And anyway, there were only one set of footsteps.
Oh, is that a fact? Is that a bloody fact?
She's bloody bent, I tell you. With me, she grabbed the money off me and I didn't realise what she was doing till we got to the office. And then she hands over a few lousy bucks to Davo and keeps the rest herself.
How much?
Well, there was 500, right, Faye?
Yeah?
She gave 95 to Davo, so work it out for yourself.
Oh, she's a bitch.
And now she's lying to protect Steve Faulkner.
Yeah, that's if he did it.
If he didn't, they're going to a lot of trouble to cover it up.
Well, it'd be just like Chrissy to lead him on and then dob him in afterwards.
He didn't exactly have a conscience about it when Sandy was giving it away.
Oh, I'm disappointed in him. Bloody screws. Trust them to stick together.
Yeah, and then stick Chrissy in the pound as though it's her fault.
What are you going to do about it, Bea?
What the bloody hell can I do?
Well, we can't let him get away with it.
No, we're not going to jump in boots first. I want to find a few facts out about Miss Joan Ferguson.
Listen, you fancy a copy of Alouetta's?
Oh, I'd better not.
Oh, it's a pity. There's a guy there plays some terrific blues stuff and piano. When mates change some records.
Yeah. Oh, if it wasn't for that bloody Gestapo woman, if I'm not back by 11 o'clock, she'll lock me up in my room for the next 6 months.
Look, it's all right. We'll make it another night, okay? I'll give you the tone. Come on.
Oh, bugger it. Why shouldn't I go? Well, she just gets her kicks out of putting people down. Come on.
Look, I don't know. I've got you in enough strife last night. I'm not going to do it again.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll go back and I'll make sure she sees me, and then I'll sneak out the window.
You kidding?
I've got out of tougher places than that before.
I don't know.
Well, are you going to take me there or not?
Okay.
You amaze me. I wouldn't have thought you could cook. Well, not that well anyway.
Well, how'd you think I was going to survive on my world cruise?
I don't know. Probably pick up some lady to be first mate.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Anyone particular in mind?
Oh, how about Meg Morris?
Oh, no. Strictly landlubber material she is.
Oh, she looked perfectly at home this afternoon.
Meg could be at home anyway. She's that type of woman.
You get on well with her, don't you?
If I didn't know you any better, I'd say you're a little bit jealous. You make me feel like we're married or something.
That's something you'd really shy away from, isn't it?
Not really. When that time comes, I'll settle down and get married. Can't spend the rest of my life happy, can I?
But what about work? Are you always going to be a prison officer?
Oh, you're kidding. No, I'll stick at it a couple more years. And the boat'll be all mine. You won't see my heels for dust. Oh, seawater.
But how are you going to make a living?
Fishing, pleasure cruises, maybe a bit of smuggling.
You wouldn't.
Maybe, maybe not.
Thanks for this evening. It's been great.
Even though we didn't go out.
Especially though I feel a bit overdressed for a quiet evening at home.
Oh, I don't know. I don't really see that as a problem.
Well, should I walk you to the door?
Oh, you better not. It'd be just like old Beamish to be looking out the window. And I told her I was going to a girlfriend's party. Well, I won't be long.
Hello, Susan. It was you. I was just about to lock up. Did you enjoy the party?
Hello, Mrs. Beamish. Yeah, the party was great fun, and we had a lovely time.
Was that a young man who drove you home?
Oh, yeah, Samantha's brother. He's studying to be a doctor.
Why is he still parked out there?
Oh, he had a bit of trouble with his car. He had to let the engine cool down for a while. Well, I'm a bit tired. I better go to bed. Good night.
Good night. And just where do you think you're going? Ah, Susan, come in. I've asked Mrs. Morris to talk to you, as I don't seem to be able to get through to you at all. Now, it was very good of her to take the time to come out here this morning.
Yeah. Thanks, Mrs. Morris.
Sit down, Susan.
I hear you tried to sneak out last night without permission.
I'm afraid so. I'm sorry, but I don't see why I have to be confined to my room in my spare time.
But you don't, Susan. There are plenty of girls your own age here to mix with.
And most of them are studying or sewing dresses or making something. Oh, they're boring.
You have made no attempt to get to know them.
Susie, you must realise that you've got to learn to accept things the way they are until your situation gets better. Now, I know you'd like to go out into a flat or something, but you just can't afford it on your wages. Mrs. Beamish has been kind enough to offer you a home when lots of others wouldn't have even thought about it. Now, you must follow house rules. It's a question of give and take.
I'm not a kid anymore, Mrs. Morris. I'm old enough to make up my own mind. And this place is as bad as Wentworth. You can't do that and don't do this.
How can you say that?
I'm sure Susie didn't mean it the way it sounded, Mrs. Beamish. She's been subjected to fairly harsh discipline most of her life. I'm sure it's only a reaction to that.
There is such a thing as responsibility.
Susie, there's something I want you to remember. Now, you're still on parole for a couple of more weeks yet. And until that expires, you have to comply with the conditions of your license. And one of those conditions is that you live here in the hostel. If Mrs. Beamish has to ask you to leave, you could find yourself back in Wentworth.
I'm sorry.
Now, you know where I am. If you ever need anything, you just give me a ring.
Yeah, okay.
I appreciate you asking me here today, Mrs. Beamish. This is Susie's first taste of independence. I'm sure she'll settle down.
I do hope you're right, Mrs. Morris. I really can't allow this kind of behavior in the hostel.
I know. Thank you for your patience.
Mrs. Morris, is there any chance of me coming to visit Lizzie or Bea?
Now, I don't think that's a good idea, Susie. You know it's against the rules. Well, I'll have a word with Mrs. Davidson.
Good morning, Wendy.
Oh, hi.
You do anything interesting last night?
Oh, no, just a boring night in front of the TV.
Oh, better luck next time. Morning, Joe.